The wait outside. It started with a simple phrase, "You'll have to wait outside." A sentence so plain, yet it carried the weight of centuries. Spoken at an airport lounge by a woman whose smile never reached her eyes. A phrase that echoed through the halls of privilege and exclusion, aimed at a young black couple whose only mistake was believing they belonged. Marcus and Layla Chambers weren't new to travel. He was the founder of a national nonprofit focused on youth development, recently featured in Forbes. She was a respected civil rights attorney who had argued before federal judges. Together, they were powerhouses cloaked in humility, unassuming until challenged. What happened to them at John F. Kennedy International Airport was not just an inconvenience. It was a masterclass in systemic bias, one that would backfire spectacularly. It was a cool spring morning when the Chambers pulled into the departures lane at JFK. Their driver, a longtime friend, helped load their bags onto the sidewalk as planes roared overhead. Marcus, dressed in slate gray slacks and a black turtleneck, helped Layla out of the car. She wore a tailored cream trench coat over wide-leg trousers, her natural curls cascading over one shoulder. Both looked stylish, professional, and entirely ordinary in an airport full of travelers. They weren't headed to a business summit or a speaking engagement this time. It was a rare moment carved out for Resta Weekend in Miami. Marcus had just wrapped up a round of successful community grant proposals, and Layla had won a grueling housing discrimination case. They needed this break. A bit of sunshine, laughter, something simple. At the Delta kiosk, they printed their boarding passes with ease, then headed toward the security line, coffee cups in hand. The energy in the airport was as chaotic as always, families herding children, solo travelers juggling laptops and carry-ons. TSA announcements buzzed from overhead speakers, reminding everyone to remove shoes and separate liquids. The usual mess of control mayhem. They reached the ID check with no problem until the agent holding their passports stared longer than necessary. "Is there an issue?" Layla asked politely. The agent blinked, as if snapped from a trance. No, you're fine." But his hands fumbled slightly as he returned their documents. They brushed it off. Stress, overwork, airport fatigue. But it was the first crack in the day's facade. After clearing security, they moved toward the Delta Sky Club. Layla had platinum status, and a lounge was one of the few luxuries they allowed themselves while traveling. A moment of peace amid the noise. As they approached the entrance, they were greeted by a woman named Colleen. Mid-30s, sharp suit, clipboard in hand, and eyes that scanned like security cameras. "Good morning," Layla said warmly. "We'd like to enter. Here's my membership." Colleen took the card, scanned it, and paused. Her expression shifted. The polite mask slipped. "I'm sorry. The lounge is currently at capacity. You'll have to wait outside." Layla tilted her head slightly. "At capacity?" Colleen nodded, already turning to the next guest. But here's the thing behind Colleen. The lounge's glass walls revealed a half-empty space. Travelers sipped lattes. Empty chairs were scattered throughout. A white man in a suit walked past them without even presenting ID. Colleen nodded him through. Marcus, quiet but alert, leaned in. "So, she's letting others in. Just not us." Layla's smile thinned. "Let's give a minute. Maybe she's mistaken." 5 minutes passed. Then 10. More white travelers were admitted without delay. Layla tried again. "I noticed others are entering. Could you double-check?" Colleen didn't look up. "Policy's clear. We're at capacity. Even though my name popped up on your screen as a current member?" Layla asked calmly. Colleen stiffened. "I'm not going to argue. Please step aside." Marcus's jaw clenched. "This is outrageous." Layla turned, holding his gaze. "Let's speak with someone higher." A lounge manager named Dennis arrived minutes later. Polished, diplomatic, and clearly trying to smooth things over. He scanned Layla's membership and confirmed what they already knew: she was entitled to enter. "I apologize for the misunderstanding," he said. "You're more than welcome." But just as they moved to walk inside, Colleen stepped forward again. "I still have a right to deny entry if I suspect abuse of privileges." Layla blinked. "Abuse?" Dennis turned, shocked. "Colleen." "No, sir. she said quickly. I just meant some guests caused disturbances. Marcus stepped forward. Are you saying we're a disturbance? The silence that followed was colder than the New York wind. Dennis cleared his throat. Colleen, please step aside. Inside, the lounge was quiet. The coffee was hot. The snacks were untouched. But for Marcus and Layla, the air had a metallic edge. The humiliation still clung like smoke. This isn't about the lounge, Layla murmured, stirring her drink. It's about a message. That we don't belong here. Marcus nodded. They picked the wrong couple to send that message to. But the indignities didn't end there. At the gate, a boarding agent flagged their tickets as invalid. Despite having just been scanned, they were told to return to the main desk. There, a woman named Denise checked their reservation and confirmed there was nothing wrong. She reprinted the passes. Back at the gate, the same agent now let them through but with an icy tone. And just before boarding, they spotted Colleen again, this time chatting with another staff member nearby. She smirked, whispered something, and both women laughed. On board, they found their assigned business class seats had been reassigned due to last-minute changes. They were moved to narrower seats near the galley, offered meal vouchers for the inconvenience. Layla didn't argue. Not here. Not now. She sat, her anger simmering beneath every polite smile she forced. During the flight, subtle slights continued. Requests for orange juice were denied, then later seen served to other passengers. Marcus asked for a blanket, was handed a tattered one. A white passenger next to him received a pristine new one moments later. I feel like we're being watched, he whispered. You are, Layla replied, and I'm documenting every second of it. Halfway through, a man across the aisle introduced himself Gerald Mann, a retired police chief. I saw what they did, he said, and if you ever need a witness, I'm here. When they landed in Miami, they tried to shake it off. The beach waited. So did a luxury suite in South Beach. They opened champagne and tried to laugh. But the scars lingered. The next morning, Layla received a call from her firm. A new case, racial discrimination against a major bank, needed her expertise. She agreed to return early. Marcus, ever the partner, chose to leave with her. At the Miami airport, their experience was entirely different. The lounge staff greeted them warmly. Their passes scanned without a hitch. For a moment, they relaxed, until the return flight. Just as they were about to board, a security officer approached. You've been flagged for possible fraud, he said. We need to verify your tickets. Layla calmly pulled up her confirmation. Carla, the gate agent, confirmed everything was legitimate. This must be a mistake, she said, flustered. You're cleared. But Layla and Marcus weren't buying the mistake narrative anymore. This is the third time we've been flagged in 48 hours, Layla told Carla. And every time it's us, not anyone else. Carla looked horrified. You need to file a complaint. This isn't normal. Layla smiled, thin and sharp. We're building a case. Back in Brooklyn, Layla dug in. She began compiling documents, screenshots, timestamps. She contacted other Black travelers who had experienced similar incidents at JFK. She reached out to civil rights groups. Then came the anonymous email. I work at JFK, it read. I've seen the discrimination. I can share internal complaints if my identity stays protected. The whistleblower delivered redacted memos, repeated complaints about Colleen, about a manager who ignored them. Layla brought in a heavyweight civil rights litigator named Damian Lyle. Together, with her firm's backing, they prepared for war. Delta's legal team offered a meeting. Not an apology, not accountability, a meeting. So Layla, Marcus, Damian, and her senior partner didn't just show up. They arrived by private jet. When they stepped into Delta's Atlanta headquarters, the same airline that once told them to wait outside now had executives standing awkwardly, waiting for them. Layla laid out the evidence. Passenger statements, internal emails, witness reports, a directive from management instructing staff to scrutinize affluent Black travelers due to a fraud risk. Their demands were clear systemic reform, multi-million-dollar settlement, mandatory racial bias training, public accountability. Delta tried to negotiate. Layla didn't budge. This isn't just about us, she said. It's about fixing a system that punishes people for existing while black. Delta caved. Colleen was terminated. Her supervisor suspended. New protocols were rolled out nationwide. Layla used part of the settlement to fund a scholarship for young civil rights lawyers. Marcus expanded his nonprofit's outreach tenfold. In their Brooklyn loft, they toasted with friends. They had turned humiliation into a platform, prejudice into purpose. I still remember her voice, Layla said quietly. You'll have to wait outside. Marcus kissed her hand. We don't wait anymore. They had walked into the airport as passengers. They returned as a precedent. And in doing so, they reminded the world, justice doesn't wait. It walks in head high, documents ready, and never backs down.